Hi, in this video I'm going to take the first steps to building a hot rod Evo Chopper. So first I'll start with why I'm building a third motorcycle. I kind of got a bug for Evo Choppers, watching Velarde pull wheelies on his. And then since then I've been watching a lot of roadkill on YouTube and watching all those hot rods. And cars are cool, but for me it's motorcycles. But I kind of want to capture that same 500 horsepower Camaro vibe, you know, that old school Camaro type thing, but in a motorcycle. And so that combined with a couple other things, like I saw a friend of mine at work has a 68 Corvette with the raised white lettering on the tires, and just kind of like want to capture that vibe with a motorcycle. A couple other things I'm going to use here from other pieces of inspiration. I've got these narrow Flanders drag bars, and I'm going to use those on the chopper. I'm going to have them mounted real low on some low risers with a black top clamp here, this black top clamp. And then I'm going to try and find a donor bike, like a 90s softail, get it hardtailed, and I'm looking for one with a 41mm front end. And then I'm going to look for one that's real cheap and has a blown up motor, so I can just put an SNS 124 crate motor in and keep it real light and real fast. I drew up some planning products here, and I'll show you those in a second.
This shows the technique I use to mock up my Evo Chopper plans. So first I take a light table, and then I take a couple of photographs of different motorcycles that I want to take some of the attributes off of and combine into one motorcycle. The top one is a softail, so I'm using that for the proportions of the motor and some of the frame cues, like the front loop, because I'm going to use that same front loop and modified the backbone. And then the bottom picture is of a panhead with a stock frame. I'm using that for the bend in the frame rail, where it goes from the bottom frame rail and then bends up to the axle, so I want to mimic that same type of bend radius. And this is going to allow me to figure out exactly how far forward I need to move the rear axle in order to bring the front end of the rear wheel flush with the back of the oil tank. And then it's also going to show me how much lifted I need to put the neck in order to have a straight line from the rear axle and still have clearance over the top of that Evo motor to get to the neck of the bike. Here I've got a picture of a bike with a 41mm front end, and I'm adding that to it. So this is the final product. It shows what a Evo Chopper might look like, with the rear axle being moved forward 2 inches, the neck being moved up 3 inches, and it's going to require 6 inches extensions on the forks. And this gives the overall stance of 34 degrees of rake, and that's with the bottom rail of the front loop being lifted more in the front than it is in the back, just slightly. But what you see there is about the stance that I'm trying to achieve with this bike. Like I said, I also had a separate mock-up where I have the ability to bring in a deraked option, because that's still something I'm playing around with in my head. So this deraked option takes out 6 degrees of rake, making an overall rake of 28 degrees, and that's how that would sit, like that. So if you are watching this video, put in the comments which one you think is cooler, the 34 degrees of rake or the 28 degrees.
So I got the first part in the mail today for my chopper project. It's this Lepera Signature 2 seat. So I'm going to open it up and show it to you guys. First I'm going to take this thing off. passenger pad. This is my second Lepera seat that I've gotten, and the first one I had was a really nice seat, so I'm not surprised to find that this looks like a really well-made seat as well. They've got heavy metal seat pans, so that they will hold their shape for a long time. And all the upholstery is usually really super tight on them, and it looks pretty good. There's the seat. And how it attaches. So it looks like we'll just attach on a regular rigid sprung seat hinge. And you can just run a bolt up. There's threaded holes here in the seat pan. So it should be pretty easy to attach. So that's just step one of building my Evo Chopper. Put the Lepera seat on my shovel head for now. And I've been driving around with it. That's just temporary until I get my Bates reproduction seat fixed, because right now it's crushing my nads when I ride a little too long. So I'm gonna fix that with some padding. I'll do a video on that later. Okay. And then switch back and have this one for the Evo Chopper. So anticipate some updates in the coming weeks and months once I get my donor bike and start that process. Till then, ride safe.
In this video, it's 12 February 2017, and it's 79 degrees out in North Carolina. So I decided to take this video, get some riding footage on my way to the park to walk the dogs with the family for all the boys up north that